the digital warehouse, to really get our heads around two core processes in SAP EWM, posting changes and stock transfers. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with the basics, figuring out what a posting change even is. Then we'll build on that, get it to stock transfers, and finally, look at the paper trail that ties it all together. Let's dive in.
All right, first stop on our tour, what exactly happens when a product status changes inside the warehouse without it physically moving an inch? Sounds a little strange, right? Well, let's break it down.
So technically speaking, a posting change is just an update to a stock's data in the system. The classic example is when goods pass inspection. In the system, they instantly get flipped from quality inspection status to unrestricted use. Just like that, they're ready to be sold. The product itself hasn't moved, but its entire purpose just changed. And this is the perfect way to think about it. Imagine you have a box sitting on a shelf. All you do is slap a new label on it that says ready to ship instead of for review. The box is in the exact same spot, but in the system, its availability, its whole story has completely changed. It's all about the data, not the physical location. Okay, so if we're relabeling this box, who's telling us to do it? Does that instruction come from on high, or can someone on the warehouse floor make that call? Well, turns out it can be both. And this slide lays out the two main ways this happens. On one hand, a request can come down from the central ERP system, the main brain of the whole business. That creates a formal warehouse request. But on the other hand, for stuff that needs to happen right now, a warehouse manager can go straight into EWM and make the change directly. It's super flexible. Now you might be thinking, okay, so it's just a simple data update, right? You click a button and it's done. Well, not so fast. The system has rules in place to make sure there's always control. So what happens next really depends entirely on how everything is configured. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it shows you just how adaptable the system is. Depending on the rules you set, it can either happen instantly, that's the always in storage bin option, boom, done. Or it can actually create a task for a warehouse worker to go out, find the item, and physically confirm the change. That gives you an extra layer of control for when you really need it. All right, so we've covered changing stock while it's standing still. Now let's get things moving. It's time to talk about physically moving stock to a whole new location. A stock transfer is, well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. We're physically transferring goods from point A to point B. Think about shifting inventory from your main distribution center out to a retail store, or even between two different company buildings. So, here's the absolute key takeaway. A posting change alters the stock's data. A stock transfer alters its physical address. One is a logical change, the other is a physical move. That's a super important distinction to remember. And just like before, there's more than one way to get this done. The method you choose usually comes down to things like distance and how much control you really need over that inventory while it's on the move. The most straightforward way is a direct, one-step transfer. The stock is signed out of the sending warehouse and basically a single transaction, it's signed in at its destination. This is perfect for simple moves, like moving pallets between two buildings on the same corporate campus where visibility isn't a big issue. But that raises a big question. What if the journey is long? How do you maintain visibility and control over that stock when it's not at the source or the destination? You can't just have it disappear from the books until it shows up. That's a huge blind spot. And the solution is the two-step transfer. This is brilliant. It introduces this middle ground, an in-transit status. The sending warehouse issues the goods, and now they are officially on the truck in the system. This is absolutely crucial for long-distance shipments or high-value goods. The stock stays visible and accounted for every second until it's safely received on the other end. No more blind spots. Now, none of this would matter without a perfect digital record. So let's look at how the system creates a seamless and totally auditable trail for every single action. This is the golden rule. Every significant action in the warehouse generates a material document, and this document acts like a digital handshake with the main business system, making sure that what's happening in the warehouse and what the company's financials say are always perfectly in sync. So, you'd probably assume it's a simple one-to-one relationship, right? One move in the warehouse, one document in ERP. Makes sense. But the system is actually a lot smarter than that. And this is a fantastic piece of efficiency. The warehouse can operate in the most logical way, like grouping tasks together to save time. So you can ship two separate customer orders at once, creating one EWM document for that single action, while the financial system still gets the two precise, separate records it needs for each order. It's the best of both worlds. And the system knows exactly what happened by assigning a category to each document. A Category 7 is always a posting change. A Category 6 is a goods issue. This simple code lets anyone instantly understand what kind of transaction took place, distinguishing a simple status change from a physical stock issue at a glance. Ultimately, whether we're talking about a posting change or a stock transfer, it's all about one thing: maintaining precise inventory control and visibility. Every action is tracked, logged, and accounted for across your entire supply chain.
So we've gone through the how behind these key processes. The final thought to leave you with is this: understanding these tools is one thing. The real power comes from figuring out how to apply them to make your specific warehouse operations faster, leaner, and more accurate.
Hey everyone, and